just reeled in a nice carp right here.
Tell me that does not look good. Come on.
Hey, what's up everyone? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining me on another catch and cook adventure. Now recently I went to my local lake to go fishing for some catfish, and I had zero luck with catfish. However, I did reel in this guy right here. Now this is a common carp. It is viewed as a trash fish here in the Americas and the Western world, and it is an invasive species, so a lot of people kind of view it, they look down on it. It has a reputation of being a bottom feeder and being a disgusting fish to eat, and I will disagree with that. Now, to be completely honest, it is not my favorite fish to eat, but it does get a really bad rap. This fish was actually considered good eating during the Middle Ages in England. It was saved for nobility and cleargymen. And during the 1800s, when a lot of Europeans were emigrating to America, they actually brought this fish with them. Just a little something from home to make cozy meals. So a big part of the world does enjoy eating carp. Once again, here in the Americas, it just has a bad reputation, but it is some pretty decent eating. And once again, look at the size of this thing. It is pretty large and they're prolific. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be cooking this guy up, and we're going to get a little fancy, and we're going to be eating some carp tostadas. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started. Okay, so as with all fish, there's plenty of different recipes that you can do to prepare this guy, especially if you have modern day amenities like a kitchen. You can do it on a pressure cooker, you can stew it, you can make fish cakes, all kinds of stuff. I generally only cook this fish one way, especially when you're outdoors, because I get a little lazy. This fish is a little tough to process, to remove the scales using pliers. I don't have time for that, so I like to do the caveman method. We got our fire right in front of us, and we're waiting this to burn down, so it's a nice hot bed of coals, and then we're going to place the fish directly, no pan or anything, and the sides of it with the scales are going to act as the pan itself, and it's just going to start cooking the meat in the inside. And so we've done this a couple of times in the past, but we've always just stuck with the whole caveman motif, and then we just pulled it out and ate it like that. Today, while this guy cooks, we're going to go ahead and just prepare our tostada. So we're going to get a little fancy today. So let's just wait for this to burn down to some coals, and then we'll place this guy right on there. Buddy, we're about to throw you in the coals too. I don't know what this guy's thinking. He's this close to the fire. Go home. Got a carp. So we have our carp in the coals, and now it's time to move on to the rest of the ingredients to make our tostada. So first thing before we begin, we need to crack open a Coors Banquet. Texas law right here. Good stuff. Now, once again, we're going to be making tostadas. Very similar to tacos, just kind of like a flat disc-shaped meal, but I mean, basically, it's just kind of like opened up tacos. So, yeah, we have the tostadas right here. Let me get these out of the way. And for our ingredients, we have tomato, jalapenos, and lettuce. And then last of all, once the fish is ready, we'll break open a avocado. So let's get to it. And today we're using the Civivi Elementum with that hollow grind. Hell of a slicer right here. So this guy has been cooking for about 25 minutes on this side. It's pretty good. We're gonna just turn it around so it can cook over here. So the fish has cooked about 25 minutes on each side, so I'd say it's about ready. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the coals. We're gonna keep him right here on these rocks so it's still warm, but we want it to cool off because we're gonna just peel off the skin and then get to the meat. Get some good ones here, nice and pretty ones. These are pretty decent. All right, and once again, these are like flat tacos. You just kind of eat them like a disc. So let's move these to the side, and we're saving the best for last because avocado's delicious. And that's kind of like the paste that's going to hold everything onto the tostada. Can't see what I'm doing. It's kind of dark. All right. Good old avocado. You never see avocado on the channel. In fact, I don't even think I've eaten avocado in like years. Yeah, avocado's kind of sticky, and so it'll hold the lettuce and the tomatoes and all that stuff. So it's not just like slipping off. Bam. Civivi Elementum. A knife designed for avocado spreading. And let's go ahead and add some seasoned salt onto our avocado. All right. Now let's go ahead and sprinkle in some veggies. So, and for the record, I did wash my hands in between handling the fish and now in between scenes. I mean, I don't think you guys cared too much to see that, but yeah, I do bring dish soap and spare water, and so in between I am washing my hands because you don't want to risk illness and stuff like that. So, just word to the wise there, making sure it's kind of pushed in there so it doesn't slip off easily. And then jalapenos, tomatoes. All right. So here's our carp, nice and barbecued. We're nice and roasted, and look at that. You'll let that cook. No need for a pan. This just kind of rips off. Now just be careful because as you can tell, carp does have some pretty large, sharp bones. Some are smaller, so be careful. But look at that. Now, once again, a lot of people think that carp tastes terrible, and it really, like, as with any animal that you hunt, it depends on, what they're feeding on, and in terms of fish, what waters they're residing in. So, that's all going to be, up for us to tell. But let me just kind of Get rid of some of this. All right, I got a little piece of meat here. Look at that. I've not put any seasonings, any spices whatsoever. Just straight up just cooked carp. Let's see how that tastes. It's not bland. It almost tastes like cooked chicken breast. I know that sounds really weird, but it has like the texture of chicken breast, just a little bit tasteless. Not a bad taste. And this fish, once again, gets a bad rap that it's really gross tasting and oily and stuff like that. I just think the fish is ugly. And let's face it, we're going to just judge an animal by the way they look. It's not as majestic as salmon or trout, stuff like that. But it gets the job done. It's pretty decent. All right, so let's get some pieces here. And once again, Cuervo, just be careful with fish bones. I don't know if we got them all, so just chew carefully. But other than that, I mean, you let this thing slow roast, and look at this. You can see the damn bones right here. It just comes off the bone. But just be careful, look at that. Okay, and here we have Cuervo and I's Tostadas. So once again, we're going to put a little bit of Lares seasoned salt on there. Once again, we did not put any seasonings on the carp whatsoever, so it won't hurt it. A little bit of green chili seasoning, a little bit of a kick. And then lastly, a little bit of some all-purpose Creole, which is, blackening basically. Whoa, I added a little too much on that one. I'll eat that one, Cuervo, don't worry. Yours is a little bit more balanced. And then last of all, we have some hot sauce. Now, a viewer sent this to us. His name is Chris Ferg, if I'm not mistaken. Apologies if I am. But Chris Ferg makes his own hot sauce, and he sent us these. And so I've been tasting them at home, and they're pretty damn good. And so I've been eager to try these out in a camp cooking scenario. And so we're going to put a little bit of these. Tell me that does not look good. Come on. All right, time to chow down. So let me get mine really quick. All right, moment of truth. Put a little bit too much Creole seasoning on this one. That was my mistake. Other than that, this tastes like chicken breast. This tastes like chicken tostadas. It even looks like chicken breast. All right, second bite. This is so good. Now, once again, I'm not trying to sell you something. Carp is not my favorite fish to eat. I would have taken catfish any day. But this is pretty damn good. No joke. Seriously, I'm just going to get a little piece of just carp right now with some seasonings and some of that hot sauce. That is not bad at all.
All right, let's do this. I always like to smell my food. I know it's kind of weird, but oops. I think when you have a good sense of smell to pick up the profile of what you're eating. But yeah, presentation's okay. The meat is nice and textured, so that's a lot of that. What James is saying is the chicken texture. But I'm just gonna remove this piece because it has the scales on it. Sorry. All right, let's do this. Yeah, that's good. A lot of freshness to it. I could see, I do taste the chicken profile in there, but I know it's not chicken. But yeah, it's good. It's very, the tostada adds a little texture to it, but it's a very refreshing kind of taste to it. And then the sauce, the hot sauce, sorry, that's good too. It has a little smokiness to it. But yeah, it's good, surprisingly.
So we already enjoyed our dinner. It was surprisingly delicious. It was a lot tastier than we were expecting. Now, I've eaten carp a handful of times in my life, and including the ones that are all in the wild. The first one I ate, I caught off the Rio Grande River, and it tasted like mud. Now, that makes sense because it's the Rio Grande River. It's nothing but mud. But the other last two were, one of them tasted like trout to me, and it was pretty delicious. And this one tasted like unseasoned chicken breast. Of course, we embellished it with, spices and other ingredients. Really delicious stuff. So, I mean, carp is honestly, they're very much vilified. They're really good stuff. So here we have what's left of our little buddy here. We have one more use for these sharp little rib bones right here. A little survival toothpick. And that's about it for us, folks. Once again, this fish is very much underrated and overly hated. I mean, it is still an invasive species, but at the same time, once again, if you're looking for bang for your buck, the amount of fish ratio, this is going to be much bigger than the average trout, the average bluegill, stuff like that, even larger than some of the catfish, at least that we have down here in the desert. So give it a try. This is some really good stuff. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Let us know what is your favorite carp recipe. And we'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.